Hey YouTube! So, a washburn that's not from my usual range of washburns. This is my pal Alan's. I was just in getting the Floyd Rose set up. I don't know. It's amazing when you buy a second-hand guitar how some people think a Floyd Rose should be. This thing, for some reason, was sitting like a pair like 10 mil off the body of the guitar, and it was like the action was you could get your finger behind the 12th fret. So it'd been adjusted by someone who just had a go at it. I think they maybe watched a YouTube video but didn't really watch it properly, and then I just tried adjusting lots of stuff and then decided, oh, this guitar isn't very good, and sold it. It's probably meant my pal actually probably got it for quite a good price. So this is a Mercury series MG40 from 1993, made in Korea, like it says on the back of the headstock. This type of headstock design is on the double neck, which is hanging there in all my videos up until last week when I got the other washburns out, because the plan was here I was going to do a video of all the washburn wings. So yes, it's quite interesting getting a shot of it. These aren't the sort of guitars I look at because someone actually asked me why I was if I could do a video explaining why I was mad into washburns. Basically, it's like with these ones, it's like, look at them, they just look amazing. So everyone else is kind of doesn't matter. The fact that they are amazing doesn't make a difference. If you like the look of something, you like the look of something. To me, this is very much a post Steve Vai guitar. Whereas when you started getting into sort of the late 80s, but very much the early 90s, there was a super strat, just super strat, which is kind of funny because this is sort of early 90s, well, maybe not early 90s. When did I start playing? Maybe sort of 96, 97, something like that. I started being into guitars, and round about that time, even though I wasn't into it, that was all your Britpop and stuff. So people weren't playing super strats, people were playing, you know, strats and tellies and Les Pauls, you know, sort of old vintage guitars. So these were kind of out of fashion, but even though it was only 3 or 4 years old, I think they were still making them. Well, maybe not this exact model. I'm sure actually I was told this model only came out for 1 year, the MG40. But they definitely did ones of this range. So were hugely unfashionable. Even though I wasn't into Britpop, I was into Sabbath, Zeppelin and stuff. But they all used old 70s guitars because it was the 70s. So they didn't have a choice to play this sort of thing. So when Steve Vai came out with his Gem in 1987, everything changed and everyone wanted super strats, which is what it is. It's basically just a strat with deeper cutaways, quite often a humbucker or maybe 2 humbuckers, and a Floyd Rose tremolo system as your strat. It kind of goes with it's likely to have quite a thin neck and stuff like that, and it's likely to have a pointy headstock. I would argue that's maybe not, I don't think you could really class that as a pointy headstock. That's a little bit more classy. The whole guitar's a little bit more sort of trying to have its sort of vintagey look but still be a thoroughly modern, when I say modern I mean modern in 1993 electric guitar. The thing is in amazing condition. I mean, you could have told me this was like brand new and I would have gone for it. It's like whoever, it's absolutely immaculate. And considering, as I say, it's 27 years old, like wow. So it's not just vintage, it's well vintage. Yes. So these are made in Korea, it says on the back of the headstock. As I said, I'm right mad into the early Japanese ones. Probably more for the styling than anything else. And I always say there was a huge drop off in quality round about the early 80s. But I think by the time we started picking up into the 90s, they were starting to fight over quality again. This to me is very much a Yamaha Pacifica. In pretty much all ways, I'd imagine probably round about the same price, and it was just your preferred choice whether you preferred this one over the Yamaha. Same with the Ibanez RG. Would be around about the 350, something like that. It's pretty much this kind of thing. You know, there's wee differences. This one's got the fret markings. I quite like the way the fret markings are on the edge, the top of the fingerboard instead of in the middle. Just makes it a little bit different. It's got Washburn branded pickups, 511, 512 and 523. The Floyd Rose is a Washburn own one. It's a 600S licensed Floyd Rose. The latest Washburn I've got is just at the end of the Japanese period. It's 1987. It's a G15, which is more. It's basically a strat body, and it's got a proper pointy head. You know, like pointy. But it's got a Washburn 600 trem in it, which is very similar to this, apart from it's a 600T I think what it means is that you don't have to cut the ends off the string to put it on. It's got like a wee flap thing, which is going out of fashion, and now people want, you know, the ones where it's pretty fidgety. You have to snip the end of the strings off to put them in and then tighten them up, which is a bit of a pig. And Floyd Roses are a bitch to set up. Even with a YouTube video telling you exactly how to do it, expect to spend... I remember the first time I ever really managed to work my way through it, I watched all of Prometheus on the telly while I was doing it, setting up my pal's Yamaha. So you're talking about a 3-hour film, you know, to get it to play properly. I'd imagine once you've done lots of them, it'll get easier. This one didn't take as long. It didn't take the full 3 hours to get it to play. Just to sit and fidgeting with the screws. Actually, what I did, I had never actually seen before. It seems very obvious. See, these are the 2 screws that hold up. You know, the springs go into this claw thing here. You can actually get at the screws without taking off this back plate. So you can adjust the Floyd Rose without taking the back plate off, which I thought was quite a good idea. Normally, you often see a slot down here, so you can take the strings out, you know, on like a strap. But the strings go in the top here; they don't actually come through the back of the block. So yes, so very very much in a similar vein to a Yamaha Pacifica, which I pretty much won the best guitar awards for whatever decades. You know, the best £200 point guitar. I think this is maybe, I think I'm totally guessing here. I'm thinking maybe a £250-300, something like that. Guitar. You know, it's not an entry level one. It's also got the you can actually get a wee clamp thing that holds the 2 Allen keys you need. One of them being, well, one of them does these clamp nuts here and also puts the strings in. I don't know what the smaller one's for. The smaller one must be for the saddles. Also the bigger one fits these. So it must. Yeah. So they don't look any smaller. So I'd imagine that one the bigger of the 2 Allen keys does these, and the smaller one does the saddles for intonation. I've actually got one of these wee clampy things sitting in my parts box. I've just never quite decided which guitar I'm going to stick it on. But it's a great way of not losing Allen keys. No qualms with that. Yeah, so let's have a play of it. It plays really well, actually. It plays brand new, and actually, see if you look at the frets, it's like, oh, it has been played. You know, I was sitting there wondering if this is one that's been bought and then never ever played, but it's got some fret wear. No, not. I wouldn't class it as wear. I would still say they were, you know, perfect. 99% as good as new, but you can see that it has actually been played rather than it's never been played at all. So we've got so basically neck pickup, strap playing through that wee lady which is plugged in there. That mic's not used. I don't use mics for in here. I just use a mic over there, a room mic, so you hear what it actually sounds like rather than a processed version of it. Position 2, be your Mark Knopfler one. Middle position, so just this pickup. Position 2, this is a push-pull volume pot which knocks this down to a single coil. So here's position 2 with this as a single coil. And then here's bridge pickup with in a single coil. And here's position 2 again. Well, this is a humbucker. And here's humbucker on its own. Which, as I said, I say in every video when I'm playing, start off with clean. Clean single coils are better for clean, and that humbucker will come into its own when I've got the rat pedal on, I would imagine. I do quite like the position 2 with this as a humbucker though. And then this is a single coil. See, I think both of them are viable sounds. I was doing a Strat last week, a white Strat, and the guy wanted me to put a coil split in it, and it automatically coil split when you were in position 2. So when you were in position 1, you had a humbucker, and when you were in position 2, it coil split this and then gave you the middle one. And I prefer probably having a push-pull pot, because I think both those sounds, you know, this is a single coil and this one is a humbucker, and this one are both viable sounds, so I really want both. So it's got a decent, quite high quality looking rosewood fingerboards. Fretwork on it's brilliant, I don't have to look at it. The neck, does it have a scarf joint? Neck does not have a scarf joint. There you go. So it's a one-piece maple neck, a tilt back angle in the headstock. So it was the thing in the at this era, Washburn branded tuners. I don't know where they would come from, but not a low spec guitar. Sort of probably your, I don't know if you really call it mid price. You probably did back then. Yeah, is that a mid price guitar? Well into the giggable territory. So I'll stick a wee bit of a loop on. Try to just change the drum track to something different. I don't know if it'll fit into it. Distortion, washburn stack in a box. Quite a slow grinding and boring rhythm track I've got today, but there you go. I might find the right thing to play over it to make it interesting while I just mess about. Maybe I'm just using too thin a pick. Humbucker on the bridge. go for a rap pedal distortion. Got 24 frets, so I suppose I'm going to try and play up there. So I'm not good at it. I try and stick a bit more rhythm behind it. But the Floyd does those drilly things I was talking about. It's floating so it goes up. So this Floyd Rose is inspiring an awful lot of confidence. See, when you get one, as I was saying earlier, I think because this guitar's not really been played very much, this Floyd Rose is still pretty much unused. I think they wear out a bit. Either that or it maybe come into, you know, this is sitting there, it's competing with the Ibanez RG and Yamaha Pacifica. assuming there's a Floyd Rose one of them. You know, it's probably not a cheap guitar, so one of the things that any magazine reviewing it's going to go, if it's got a shit Floyd Rose, you know, stay away from said guitar. I still don't recommend you get a Floyd Rose as your first guitar, unless you've got a very friendly person who knows how to set them up and is willing to spend a couple of hours setting it up. And even then, don't touch anything. I had to set this one. This one's actually tuned to E flat, and it's got heavy ends, low bottom, no, skinny top, heavy bottom, Ernie Ball strings on it. And so that there's a 52. It's a set of 10s, and it goes to a 52. I'm not a fan. I prefer mid 10 to 46. Also, I think there's something throwing me a bit. I mean, I know it might just be in my head. There seems to be something throwing me, but just the fact it's tuned to E flat kind of makes everything. You know, I'm used to an E being this, and it's like that's not an E, it's an E flat. So something in my brain it's kind of going, something not quite right there. Even though it's in tune with itself, it doesn't seem completely right. So a wee bit of an apology for scoffing at such guitars. Brilliant. It's really good. It's not the same league as these sort of things, but it wasn't in the same price bracket. And I just myself, you know, being one of the reasons I'm such a fan of early 80s guitars is because that was when they were making what I term interesting shapes. You know, they were a bit different. Whereas by the time it got to sort of the 90s, everyone just made super strats, which is kind of, I mean, this is pretty much an Ibanez RG or as I said, a Yamaha Pacifica, or the actually before the Pacifica there was one called an RGX, which is very much, there may be a little bit more metal in this. This is kind of, I was going for the Pacifica because this one doesn't quite look, it's a little bit more stratty just by looks, not necessarily by shape or by tones. Another thing is, I think if you're going to start collecting guitars like the way I am, you really have to pick and choose. It's like I can't just go, just buy lots of Washburn guitars because they made millions of things. So at least if I limit myself down to, you know, the early 80s and the Japanese ones, it's kind of, you're down at, I don't know. Well, I mean, I would class all of these as pretty much one model, sort of, even though they're all different and cool names. But the Floyd Rose is good. It's really good in this one. Mind you, the one on my 87 G15 is the first Floyd Rose I ever came across that I didn't absolutely hate immediately. Part of that was down to, I think, the guitar was very dirty when I got it, so I had it right down to component parts. I literally took the Floyd Rose to bits, cleaned all the parts and put it back together again, so I kind of rebuilt it from scratch, and then it worked like the way this one is just now. It's that thing. And even though these strings haven't been played in, you know, I gave my this morning I gave it a bit of a and then tuned it, but I mean, it's holding tune. Very much at the start of when I used to have Dolby Digital. It says at the start of some films. THX remastered, and obviously that will go woo through the speakers. So I'll be keeping my eye open for one of these. I quite fancy maybe doing a Buckcaster one of these. They're not going to be as cheap as a lot of the guitars I'm thinking you probably, seeing as I'm a bit of a Washburn nut and I didn't really know anything about them, I would imagine most folk don't know anything about them at all. So these might be the sort of guitars you can pick up on Facebook Marketplace for absolutely buttons because no one's ever heard of them. You know, I don't know. I don't know what my pal paid for it. Yeah, so 25 minutes again. It's like, even I just seem to have an inability to make a 10-minute video these days. So, Washburn MG40. Rocking. Catch you later.